What if a 69-year-old man's appearance depends not so much on expensive cosmetics and some secret procedures as on dozens of decisions he makes every ordinary day? Janete Santos is a woman who is 69 years old, but her lifestyle is not at all similar to the stereotype that many associate with this age. The youth that we see in a person after 60 is rarely the result of a single magical secret. Much more often, this is the result of what has been happening to the body for decades. And today, we will analyze the habits of Janete Santos not as a set of beautiful tips, but as a system from which everyone can take something for themselves. Moreover, some of these principles may be much more important than another jar of cream or a fashionable supplement. Therefore, watch this video to the end. It will be interesting and useful. So, let's get started. Let's start with one of the most obvious elements of her lifestyle: regular workouts. Janete consistently works out at the gym, and this is especially important after the age of 50 to 60. The fact is that with age, the body does not just get older according to the number in the passport. Muscle mass gradually changes, strength decreases, the ability to recover quickly from stress worsens, and with a sedentary lifestyle, a person may begin to lose physical independence. Therefore, training in adulthood is not only a matter of a beautiful figure. Strong muscles help a person to climb stairs more easily, get up from a chair, carry purchases, maintain stability, and continue to do normal things on their own. And that is why physical activity can be called one of the most practical investments in the future. However, there is an important caveat here. It is not necessary for a person to spend 2 hours in the gym every day. Regularity is much more important for health than heroic single workouts. If you don't exercise much right now, you can start by walking, doing simple exercises with your own weight, and gradually increasing your workload. And if you want to work out with weights, especially after a long break, it is wise to first master the correct technique and choose the load that corresponds to your level of training. Janete's main idea is not to copy her workout routine. It is much more useful to adopt the principle itself. The body needs to be used, otherwise, it gradually loses the ability to do things that previously seemed completely ordinary. But training alone is impossible to create a healthy body. Janete's second principle is nutrition. And she doesn't just stick to a certain diet, but cooks on her own using her own recipes. And there is an interesting detail here that is easy to underestimate. When a person cooks at home, he gets much more control over what exactly gets on his plate. He chooses the products himself, the amount of oil, salt, and sugar, the serving size, and the cooking method. This does not mean that homemade food automatically becomes healthy, but this habit makes it much easier to make an informed choice. It is especially important not to turn food into an endless list of prohibitions. A healthy diet does not have to consist of tasteless dishes and 3 lettuce leaves. It is much more practical to learn how to assemble an ordinary plate so that it regularly contains protein sources, vegetables, or other fiber-rich foods that are suitable for your body, carbohydrates, and moderate amounts of fat. Protein is especially important for maintaining muscle tissue, and fiber helps make the diet more satisfying and supports the normal functioning of the intestines. Instead of searching for one superfood, it is much more useful to diversify your diet. Another feature of Janete is the absence of bad habits. Against the background of the rest of its principles, this may seem too obvious, but it is the obvious things that sometimes make a huge difference. When a person doesn't smoke, doesn't abuse alcohol, and doesn't build their lifestyle around other destructive habits, they don't get an instant effect in the mirror. But his body regularly avoids factors that can harm him for many years. In terms of aging, this is especially important because it's not about one day, but about the cumulative effect. In general, if we talk about the appearance of youth, it is useful to stop perceiving it as an exclusively cosmetic category. How fresh and energetic a person looks is not only related to their skin condition. Age perception is influenced by posture, gait, muscle tone, facial expression, activity level, and general well-being. The next principle of Janete is the attitude to the daily routine. At first glance, it sounds boring. It's much more interesting to discuss unusual diets, expensive treatments, or secret supplements, but the body really likes predictability. Sleep, nutrition, physical activity, and rest periods form a certain rhythm that helps a person maintain a normal state of health. Therefore, the regime is not a punishment or a stopwatch life. Rather, it is the creation of a clear structure of the day. If your schedule is constantly chaotic, don't start by trying to change your whole life in one evening. You can choose one anchor, for example, approximately the same time of rising or going to bed. Then gradually add regular physical activity and a more predictable diet. It is especially important not to sacrifice sleep for work, endless phone browsing, or household chores. Recovery is as much a part of a healthy lifestyle as exercise. The body needs not only to receive a load, but also to be able to recover from it. Interestingly, Janete's lifestyle is not limited to the gym and the kitchen. She runs her own blog, talks about her life, and shows recipes. And it may make a much bigger difference than it seems. When a person has an occupation that interests them, they continue to be involved in life. He creates something, communicates, shares his experience, receives feedback, and continues to develop. Age in this case does not become a reason to stop. And here an important question arises. Why do some people drastically reduce the number of activities and social contacts after retirement? When the usual responsibilities disappear from life, it sometimes seems to a person that with them, the need to plan something has disappeared. But the brain and psyche still need interest, tasks, and a sense of self-worth. And finally, perhaps the main lesson of the Janete Santos story is that youth is not just what we see in the mirror. Much more important is the ability to remain independent, curious, strong, and interested in life. Friends, what do you think of this woman? Write your opinion in the comments. If this video was useful to you, then please like it and share the link with those who might find it particularly useful. We also recommend watching this video that's currently appearing on your screen.